My session for the next half an hour or so is around the topic of diversity, and especially around gender diversity. And I would like to invite my three panelists to the stage. Let's start with Gosia Socha from State Street. Magda Rabiej from Google, and Magda Zawora, who's representing NGO Women in Technology. And the diversity topic for me is close to my heart because on one hand, I have a team of currently 7 employees across 4 continents, and represent the majority of those are women. In the past, I've also worked for very diverse managers across different geographies and jurisdictions, but also had a very international team. And this is not only a slogan or often a KPI you might have in your scorecard, but especially on the more senior level, it's important to create this diversity. And the most important one is the gender diversity, because it's the easiest to achieve, in my opinion. And there are several programs we will be talking about how some practical examples from the companies can help build that diversity. But we are going to start with 3 Mentimeter questions. And first of all, we would like to understand, can we get the Mentimeter up, please? First of all, I would like to understand how diverse is the audience today. So, how many men versus women do we have in the audience? Right. Let's wait. So we have less 40 people or so connected. Maybe we can have some more. Looks like pretty balanced, 50-50, although unless the gentlemen are somewhere hiding, because that's on average, that's not the trend we observe, even across the GPS industry in Krakow. Okay, and then, so it's almost a 50-50. Let's go to the next question. So what do you think? This diversity, does it bring any benefits from a company perspective? Okay, here we have a very strong yes from everybody, and without surprise. And Gosia, maybe later on you can also comment on that, because your company has introduced also certain pressures on boards to increase the diversity and on boards from an asset management perspective. And our last question in the poll. So let's say you have a target or your strategy is to increase your diversity. What would be your priority? Would you like to hire from outside, or are you more on internal development to increase your gender diversity? And here we can see a trend of internal development, which is also very interesting. So thank you for the poll questions. Maybe we stay with the page here, and if Magda Rabiej, maybe if you don't mind commenting in terms of what you think, especially from a technology perspective, where maybe the pipeline of female candidates for more senior position is limited. Which one is more important for you in terms of your?
So definitely it's important to grow new leaders, because they need to grow somewhere, right? So if we leave that to hiring, then, well, where would they come from, right? So it's really important for every company to invest in growing leaders, so they can grow leaders behind them and more leaders, and then everyone will win. And of course, it's good to invest in external hiring a bit, just to add a new perspective and new people to the team, so that bring their own opinions that were developed elsewhere, not in our company.
So in the end, it's more a balance between the both. So it's depends on your personal situation, but growing the talent, but then also if you are missing that, to attract from outside. Yes, Magda, as part of our company, IG Group, we were partnering with Women in Technology in a program where we're actually building some pipeline of future talent in the technology space, and your organization participated in some research recently to investigate more about how the situation is among the leadership, the women leadership, especially in the tech sector. If you could tell us more about the research and what are the key findings from that.
Sure. So hello, everyone. So first, let me just give you this really briefly the context for this survey. So we, as the Women in Technology Poland community, we are supporting women, have been supporting women for over 12 years, and from time to time, we organize such research to understand what's the main problems, obstacles, and difficulties that women come across. Of course, that's really crucial for us to address those problems with our upcoming activities. So this year, we've decided especially to concentrate on women careers in IT, because this is our environment. Wanted to identify the pain points which hinder women to be promoted for leaders, senior leader positions. So we targeted this survey to women who either are already on leader managerial positions or have at least 5 years of experience. And despite the survey is still active, so everyone who meet the requirements, so please capture the opportunity to join us and to submit your response. But despite it's still open, we planning to close it on this Sunday. We've managed to gather some crucial findings, and taking the advantage of this meeting and the audience, I'd like to share with you some of them. But in general, if you ask me about the general conclusion, so it's not really optimistic. 87%, so it's vast majority of our respondents, think that it's much more demanding for women to make career in IT than for men. And moving to, let's say, those findings, let me pick 3 of them. First, will be maybe a bit surprising, but for sure it's worrisome. So it seems that 56, so it's significant percentage of our respondents suffer from some symptoms of burnout. And burnout is from, let's say, ethical point of view, the problem to be addressed itself, but it's also the starting point for this discussion. We know that, well, diversity and more diverse teams are important for us, also from business reasons. And here we've got the situation when with the waste, because we are losing the workforce, really experienced one, because those burnouts leads not only to leave the companies, particular companies, but also the whole sector. The second one that may be inspirational for you, so the visibility. So this is the observation how hard it's for women to be visible. There are probably lots of reasons, but given how important is it to be visible outside the organizations, like building your personal brand on social media, for example, but also internally in your organization for the decision who should be promoted. So we see that women, this is a really challenge for women to speak aloud about their achievements, about the great results of their work. That's really a challenge. So that would be great if you bear in mind that this is really a significant difference between men and women. And there's a tons of reasons probably for this situation. Not to cover a little part of them today, but let me just first take the most complex one, but the culture. And in this special situation, differences how we behave, boys and girls. So the expectations that we have towards them, and also what we reward them for, and what is the results of that, and how it reveals then in our professional life. The third thing, and the third finding would be around the questions. On one hand, what supports women in environment in their organization to the path to senior leading positions, and on the other hand, what discouraged them from putting some efforts to be promoted. So here, this is some comments around culture, organizational culture, right? So could be here some low-hanging fruits, because this is quite well-known problems. However, as we see, it's not easy to find smooth solutions. So here, it seems that it's still strong belief that high availability is crucial to be promoted. So people still believe that if they are not available out of business hours or during weekends, it is something which cross out the opportunity to be promoted on senior leaders positions. Second one, it seems that it's not really often to have a real development plan for our employees. Not saying about the good cooperation between managers and people who have ambitions to be promoted. So first creating this plan, and then cooperating with implementing it. And the third and last thing is the glass ceiling. It is still observed. However, if we look at the comments which sometimes are attached to this question, we can also analyze that it could be actually glass ceiling, but also we can describe this as a phenomenon called broken rungs.
Okay, thank you, Magda. So some of this sounds very simple in terms of the fix, but maybe before we talk about some solutions, Gosia, from your perspective, you're representing a bank, and you're a financial person, head of finance. Do you see that in your area as well, or is it more unique to a technology where it's more men-dominated?
I think it's a general problem because, the ladies, they have a tendency to shrink themselves, to make themselves smaller, and this is maybe because how we raise children, because we teach girls, that this is not for you. You are supposed to be a teacher or, sit silent. So actually we need to change the methodology of raising children. And in my opinion, as my colleagues just mentioned, it's education, investment process, and actually we should invest a lot of effort and, also time and capacity into growing the strong pipeline of female leaders.
Okay. So what I heard from Magda, kind of maybe 2, 3, 4 themes. On one hand, women are leaving. There's burnout or other issues in terms of a limited development opportunity. Secondly, there is also an issue with visibility, giving them access to some projects, initiatives, etc. And thirdly, there are some internal processes in the organization which hinders you. So maybe from a Google perspective, which is often seen as a kind of a model, and you are also the female leader in the organization here, what do you think in terms of some of those themes which Magda mentioned? How can we address those?
So definitely we need to somehow work on improving women leaders and improving them from the first day in the organization, when they enter the organization at entry level. I read in this year's Women in Workplace report prepared by McKinsey that there is no really glass ceiling functioning in the workplace. It's most of the broken rank, meaning looking from all levels at the organization, women are less often promoted to higher levels, starting from entry level. Less women are promoted to those medium levels, more senior levels, and by the time they go to executive suite, it's like few percent only. And it's across the board. It's not like there is one ceiling. And the report ties that to the fact or the phenomenon that men are more often promoted for potential and women are promoted for accomplishments. So as Eva mentioned in the previous panel, she had to prove for a long time that she's able to do the work of the next level before she got promoted. And it's happening all over the place. The McKinsey report is in US, so it's less connected to the way how people in Poland raise children. So it's all over the place. And we need to be mindful of that women have challenges across all levels, and we need to somehow empower them and help them and support them, and just be mindful of that and introduce processes that would support the growth across their entire career.
Okay. Maybe Gosia, from your perspective, I know there have been multiple initiatives going on in State Street.
Yeah.
Can you share maybe some examples of what was working or maybe something which wasn't working?
Yeah, actually, I think a very good example is the Fearless Girl program. So I think many of you recognize, the famous sculpture of Kristen Visbal, Fearless Girl, and that is a symbol at State Street of a very great initiative to help women start their career in finance and in financial services. So in cooperation with Mamo Pracuj, we've created around 25 places for ladies who were for a very, very long time outside of the labor market and who actually were educated in a completely different area. And this is a very good successful program that will help this group of ladies, to start their career, and I think it's like a great investment to build, the pipeline of the future female leaders. But this is not the only one. We also have internal coaching, mentoring program that it's like a kind of preparation for the next level, and it's a long-term program. It's not a couple of weeks. It's a investment of the current leader in the future of next generation of females who will be ready, to take over the next step in the career.
There's a big dependency on recruitment, whether it's the external or internal recruitment. Anybody would like to comment in terms of what are maybe some best practice we can introduce to make this smoother or more simpler in terms of the opportunities for both? There's less bias in the process.
Do you mean how to improve recruitment processes?
Yeah, maybe some simple, like a process, from a process perspective, what can organization change?
Okay, so first, in the recruitment processes, I think it's not a good practice to actually set targets on how many women we hire. meaning if we hire 10 people, we need to hire at least one woman or two women or something like this. This is not a good practice because when we employ that, we risk that those women would feel like diversity hire, that they were hired because they are women and not because they are good specialists. And, well, the teams would let them feel that. So the thing that we are doing at Google is making sure that we have a diverse pipeline. So we push our recruitment team to present several candidates, and we need to see diverse candidates in the pipeline. Diverse meaning women, and diverse meaning some people from other countries, other environments than just Poland. So based on this pool of candidates, we just select the best one, regardless of if this is a woman or a foreigner or whoever that is. We hire the best candidate. And that is something that provides equity and provides fairness to everyone, to the rest of the team and also to people we recruit. And the important factor to remember is that hiring is not everything. We need to create an environment, inclusive environment in the company to make sure that people will feel included and they will feel as they belong in the company. Because, well, even if we succeed with hiring a diverse team, if we don't make sure that the culture is right, they will just leave.
Thank you. All right, let's maybe open up the floor for some questions from the audience. I take 2-3 questions. Are there any? Maybe somebody wants to comment on something you are doing in your organization as well. There's a question over there. Do we have a mic? Or?
Tomaszu, do you want a mic?
Thank you. Really interesting to hear the conversation there. I'm quite keen to know what cultural things you are doing and implementing to really encourage females to even apply. So what steps are you taking in that space to make it attractive?
In terms of the branding and how to attract more pipeline, yeah?
Yeah.
Who would like to take that? Gosia, what are you doing to attract more women, especially more the senior?
So as I mentioned, we have several programs and initiatives. So we are, cooperating with different foundations like Mamo Pracuj to attract, ladies coming back from maternity to join the organization. We are trying, to adapt our, solutions offered to make sure that these ladies who are still taking care of the children are able to work. So it is just to help them start, but also, for the ladies who are already in the organization and who would like to get promoted in the future. As I mentioned, we are offering a mentoring coaching program, the initiatives like Day in the Life of the Leader, just to show, what is the real job on the next level, so that, the ladies are not so afraid of taking this challenge. So, the examples like that to shape our culture.
Can I add to that? Google prepares a report every year, the Diversity in the Workplace report. And there's a lot of initiatives listed in that report and the statistics, how well or not so well we look in terms of hiring women and employees from various backgrounds in the workplace. And definitely we suffer a little bit from the having the image of the company to be hard to get to, that prevents women to even try to apply. Yes, and we are working, for example, with the Mamo Pracuj as well foundation to somehow overcome that image. We organize a lot of meetings with women in the workplace just to let them know other women who work at Google already, and just show them that it's possible, and it's just a matter of having a little bit of courage to try.
Maybe Magda, Zafar, if I just a follow-up question for you on that, because you have access to the whole community. You hear what our leaders across different companies are talking and how when they make career decisions, what do you think, what makes it special that one company is better known than other companies?
But no, from being putting efforts into being more diverse.
Yeah, so in terms of that, more diverse candidates apply to those companies.
Well, it's great. The results of the poll. So where Tomek were asking about what do you rather take, like hiring or recruitment process versus internal development. It's great to see that those results, because very often we see that people tend to thinking and then trying to increase diversity in their companies. They rather have the tendency to focus on recruitment and acquiring new talents than internal development. So it's great to see it. And we usually see this difference in this criterion if the company and the leaders tries to organize some kind of internal development projects. That's the great thing to see, because we know that that could be really effective. And role modeling, especially inside the companies, this is something which is the really good practice.
Okay, all right. Do we have another question?
I just have a quick follow-up. I'd be really keen to hear about the mentoring programs that you introduced, particularly if the mentoring happens by the more senior males in your organizations. Is that the case?
In our case, it's organized by women and by males. So it's like rather to organize, like to identify the right mentor who will be able, just to share the expected knowledge, required knowledge, and expertise for the lady who is aspiring for a certain position.
I can add maybe on that, in our company, in addition to the classical mentoring, we also have a sponsoring program for women talent. So some of the key talents have executive sponsors, and then when certain decisions are made, those people should remember about those sponsees, and so it's not like there is a mechanism of support. And we have one question from Jacek.
Thank you, Tomek. Thank you, Andrew. Just one question, very simple. And I just wanted to reconfirm what I heard, which is a surprise for me. And the question is to all of you, but specifically I wanted to reconfirm what you, Małgorzata, said, which is related to tendency of women to shrink themselves, which is, in my opinion, surprising for me, because I see it quite opposite. Starting from the examples of the high roles, my former colleague Magda, head of Google, Krysia Pieczykowska, head of Hitachi, Lucyna Chwastkowska, head of Amazon, going, from the top to the bottom, my observations are absolutely different. And from honestly saying, from perspective of a man, I don't see any difference at the moment between women and men if you are talking about the aspirations. And so hearing that, it's really surprising for me. And I just wanted to reconfirm, and the question is to all of you, if you really see this kind of behaviors coming from women, because my observations are absolutely opposite.
Yeah, we see, especially when we have, let's say, higher level position advertised internally and externally, and usually we see, you know, like 75% of candidates applying are male and only 25% are female. And this is changing, I would say. And, you know, the initiatives like this one is helping to shape that future. But I believe that we still observe such trends.
So I was talking about statistical trends and the case of us sitting here and Lucyna or Krysia, we are successful because we were able to use the opportunities we got, right? We started in great companies that gave us opportunities, and we were able to use those opportunities, and that's how we managed to be successful. But on a statistical basis, many women have the tendency to shrink themselves, and we even have, at Google, we have trainings for recruiters to look at resumes that come from applicants from a little bit angle of the gender of the person who wrote it, because women tend to write more modest resumes, and sometimes comparing the two similar candidates, just judging by the words in the resume, you would pick a male candidate because they were more
Power.
yeah, a little bit. They are able to present themselves a little bit better statistically.
All right, thank you. I think we're running out of time. Andrews, thank you to my panel. A round of applause, please.